says specific acts must be identified and match what the law describes, or else it's void because it's vague. And as I pointed out before, in the Kingpin chart, series of violations, certain crimes, very vague. Then there's the rule of lenity. This says that ambiguity in a law is construed in favor of the defendant. So if there's any question or lack of clarity, the defendant gets the benefit of the doubt. Now, I don't know what's less clear than trying to take laws that are constructed for the physical world and apply them to the virtual world. Then they say, no, charges don't have to match the law's definitions. Well, besides the void for vagueness, it says it specifically, Fifth Amendment, due process say, an allegation must meet the precise description in the law. Now, in this case, they're very big on redefining things. The co-conspirator, they redefine that as, well, pretty much, it's very broad, and you can have a very tangential association with a crime, and if they say you're a co-conspirator, well, you are a co-conspirator. They stretch the definitions of organize, manage, and supervise in the Kingpin chart. Their description sounds like any website host, the way they describe it. They define users of Silk Road as Ross's business partners. Now, I would love to be Google's business partner, but I don't think they're going to go for it just because I use their site. They also say a website host is liable for the criminal activity of site users. Well, that's transferred intent, as we discussed, and they completely dodge the question. And again, Josh Draytell says it's unprecedented and extraordinarily expansive. So, in summary, we have the government in this case. Hey, our laws are expansive and adaptable. We're not required to use specific charges or technical precision. We don't have to match definitions, and one person's responsible for the actions of another. So, on the subject of transferred intent, just a little bit about that. In the 80s, Congress passed the Communications Decency Act, specifically Section 230, to prevent transferred intent. To prevent, say, Craigslist from being held liable for murders that were arranged on Craigslist, or eBay for stolen goods on eBay. And this is true even if the host promoted illegal activity. In civil court, they were not responsible for actions on their site. The prosecution relies very heavily on this theory of transferred intent in direct opposition to the spirit of what Congress passed in the Communications Decency Act and wanted to prevent. Now, it is true that it only applies to civil. If Ross were in a civil court case for the exact same conduct, he would be immune. But because it's a criminal case, he's up for looking at some pretty serious stuff. Our lawyer says that this inconsistency is arbitrary, discriminatory enforcement. And the government says, well, that guy, no biggie, no problem, because you can trust us to not abuse the system. They actually did say that. Our lawyer says, look, this could set precedent. No website host has ever been held liable for the actions on the site. And he says it creates a dangerous anomaly in which ISPs and other web hosts could face greater exposure in criminal cases in the future. That they could use this as a foot in the door. And they already told us their laws were expansive and adaptable, remember? So I don't see why that isn't a valid concern. If that happened and website hosts were fearful of what was of criminal liability, I would imagine that it would put a chill on the internet and stifle creativity and free expression on the internet. That's, it seems to me that that could happen. So, and so there are larger issues at play here than just Silk Road and one man. And the question is, how can they use this? How can they use this case? Well, they can pave the way for new laws and interpretations. Josh Ray tells that it's traditional for them to use high-profile cases to make bad law. Cases that would impact internet privacy. In their papers, they already said that people who want privacy, for instance, Tor users, have criminal intent just by the fact that they use Tor. So they're already looking at privacy. Internet autonomy. How much are they going to regulate and become involved in that, based on precedent set in this case? Digital currency. This is probably going to be the first pushback and challenge to the government, their attempt to stretch the money laundering statute to target Bitcoin. Web host liability we discussed already. Legal definitions, expanding definitions and consequently expanding liability. Casting a much larger umbrella over more people, making more of us criminals. So basically, government expansion. Now, I'm an older woman. I've lived much of my life, and it will affect me, but a lot of you here are young, and this is your future. I believe we're at a crossroads here. We're in uncharted territory. This has not been addressed in the courts. This case will impact which way we go, and what kind of future we're going to have, and what kind of internet we're going to have. It's big. Ross sent me this picture of himself about a week ago. It was taken a couple weeks ago in prison. I guess sometimes they go around and take pictures for the families. And he sent me a message for you that I want to read from prison. Hi, PorcFest, this is Ross. The first thing they tell you when they arrest you is that what you say will be used against you, and they mean it. So I have to keep this brief. I'd just like to thank you for giving my mom, Lynn, the chance to tell you about the situation I'm in, and why the outcome of this legal battle will have a lasting impact on you and the rules you live under in this country. One thing I've learned since beginning my tour of the federal criminal justice system is that these guys are not all powerful. Precedent can be set that will limit their ability to infringe on our rights. I urge you to stand by me and do what you can to turn this horrible situation into a win for us. I wish I could be there with you, but of course I can't. But with your help, though, I'll see you at PorcFest 2015. I told Ross when he was called about the support I've gotten here, and he's so encouraged and uplifted by it. I'm so grateful. It's so good. So we're up against a Goliath here. And we need an army of Davids to come alongside us. Our team is working so hard for us. It's a very small team. There are lawyers and I and some family members and friends who stepped up. And it's a mountain of work. So we need you to come alongside us and help. Not just for Ross and us, but for all of us. And you'll be in good company. And you want to do what this guy says, right? We have a poster campaign that we're getting people to take pictures of themselves and post them around the internet. We've had them come from Moscow, from Australia, from Costa Rica, and of course around the States. We just want to get that going. Around the room we have posters that go right to Bitcoin and Bitcoin account. Every little bit helps. As I said, you'll be in good company. Here's Jeffrey Tucker, who's speaking after I do. We're at a Bitcoin conference in Austin. They gave me flowers, they're so sweet. Here's John Bush, he's spoken at some panels here. You've probably seen him, another friend. Harlan Dietrich of Brave New Books, who couldn't be here, but we have a Brave New Books table, and he encouraged me, he told me about this, encouraged me to come. And he's also the force behind our Indiegogo campaign. We have a goal of $20,000. Appreciate help meeting that goal. There's t-shirts, and right there, you can get a cool t-shirt like this. And there they are. And other great things, bundles, prizes. So we do that. And again, we take Bitcoin. We set a goal of, for PorcFest, 60 Bitcoin. Yeah, well, ambitious. But a friend calculated, well, if each person gave 0.03, we do it. So anyway, whatever you can give, though, is really appreciated. And, we also take PayPal. Write us a check, give us cash. We actually got a silver bullet. I was here, so. Please visit our Free Ross community page and like us and comment and make us a presence there. Follow us on Twitter. I'll follow you. See, I'm learning all this. I'm getting up to speed here. Then there's our website where you can connect with all of this. And we know not everybody can give a lot of money. We always need money, but we need ideas. We need contacts. Help with social media, cryptographers, got a lot of stuff to decrypt. Anybody who has legal knowledge or help, we welcome all of that. And you can contact us through the website. You'll get me, so just email us. So, here we are. I love this quote, again by Scott Greenfield. He has a blog called Simple Justice. Because the lawyers are watching this case. It's interesting to read what they say about it. And what he says is, this case is the birth